Hi YouTube. Been a while since the last post. For those of you who are following the story, my wife and I have not made any further decisions about how we're going to proceed with the fertility treatments. I think we probably will try again, but not today. So we're going to embark on a new subject. This is something that's interested me for a while. I find that the people in life that seem to accomplish the most are those that recognize that they have a duty to the people around them and dedicate themselves to that duty. They find within themselves a need to serve and perhaps an ethical base that guides them to that service. Now, I think this is to some extent external. You learn from experience, you find out what works. Sometimes you are inspired by sources, be they religious, be they philosophical, be they a mentor. And it's through the expression of your belief in certain principles and living those principles in your life that you really accomplish something real in life. So what I would like to do is go through an exploration of my own ethical base, my own sort of basic principles, and through them hope to gain some sort of inspiration to move forward, to gain a little direction in life, and perhaps to discover how I can add meaning to a life that, to some extent, has lost direction. I'm going to do this through the analysis of something called Pirkei Avot, which I will discuss in another post, the source of it. But essentially, this is a discussion between several very bright rabbis a long, long time ago. And it lays out sort of an ethical framework by which one apparently can live. I say with a major caveat that I don't always agree with everything in here. Some of it I find quite difficult to understand. Some of it I find quite difficult to believe in. And other bits I find very compelling. I'm using this as a springboard really to explore myself. And I say with a huge caveat that I'm speaking from the perspective of someone who has made every possible mistake in life. Every really inconceivable error, every stupidity, every ridiculous way one can harm oneself or harm other people is in my own past, and I recognize that. So throughout this discussion, if somebody wants to wave the flag and say I'm a hypocrite and have no right to discuss this, I would be the first to agree with you. So I do approach this with the hat of the hypocrite, and offer only the thought that I recognize my frailties as a human and the mistakes that I've made, and I try to make apologies for them. And perhaps by speaking aloud the ethical framework that I see as important, perhaps in life I will try and live these principles a little bit more consistently. To some of you may be thinking, he's found religion and it's time to tune out. I leave that to you to decide. I don't actually see this as a religious exercise, although certainly those who had this discussion would have been working from a religious perspective. I find a lot of these ethical principles live quite happily in a world where you don't necessarily need to discuss God. However, for those of you who do have a more religious bent, I certainly recognize the strength that faith can give one. I'm uncomfortable with following faith blindly, which is why I think discussing such matters is always useful, and I tend to question as much as I possibly can. So if that makes you uncomfortable, I'm sorry. For those of you who find this deadly dull, I also apologize. For those of you who want to bring in sources of your own ethics, just free discussion or sources that are interesting to read, please do. I'll probably wander off into other sources as well, but I'm just using this as a starting point. Why? Because, and I say this quite openly, I'm a Jew. I have a Jewish education. I'm far from the best Jewish student on the planet. I struggled significantly. However, it's a tradition that has been a discussion that has gone on for many hundreds of years. And it's a discussion that has taken itself seriously. And, as we go through this, I think you'll probably recognize that these are conversations that have as much relevance today as they did when this was first drafted. So, I offer this to you. I offer this to myself as perhaps a means by which to reconnect with what I see as important and good in myself. And I hope for you this is a useful and joyous experience. I'm going to begin with a quote that you've probably already heard before, and you may not have realized that this is the source. So we are reading from the book. There it is, Pirkei Avot. This is from the 14th sentence, and you can tell me if you think you've heard it or not, and what it means to you, if that interests you. I'm going to try and read it in Hebrew. I beg your forgiveness. I'm nervous as I do this. Im ein ani li, mili, כשאני לעצמי, מה אני, ואם לא עכשיו, emati. I like this. And what it means is, if I am not for myself, who will be for me? If I am only for myself, what am I? And if not now, when? Thank you.